So I did this thing where I asked all my viewers what they wanted to see next, either the Stag or Dawn Chorus, right? To be completely honest here, I really expected everybody to have a hard-on for Dawn Chorus, but because I expected and wanted one thing to happen, the exact opposite is what actually came to pass. You'd think after enough time that I might learn a thing or two, but that's where you'd be wrong. I didn't think I'd be doing the Warlocks thing again anytime soon, yet here I am. I do feel like this one is a winner though, I'm feeling pretty confident. So let's just start with skill trees and get that out of the way first. We're working with the bottom tree Voidwalker, and this time we're actually going to utilize the entire skill tree for a change. First up is Devour. Kills with this melee ability fully regenerate your health. For a short time afterward, additional kills will also restore health. Next, we've got Feed the Void. Consume your grenade to regenerate your health and proc the Devour effect. Its sister ability, called Insatiable, resets the Devour timer on kills and restores small amounts of grenade energy. And lastly, we've got Vortex. The Nova Bomb creates a singularity that damages enemies trapped inside, and any enemies that are killed with said singularity will proc Devour or reset the existing timer, should it be active. The basis here is health and grenade regen. Both are essential stats for survival, especially considering the exotic and the mods that we're going to be using. And if you couldn't tell what that exotic was by the thumbnail, then I honestly just, I don't know what to say, except for this is a really good exotic now. The Stag, and its perk, Dearly Departed. Rifts provide damage resistance to guardians standing in its field. It also grants rift energy when you reach critical health. And when you finally die, a healing rift is going to spawn on your body. Now, keep in mind here, the resist stat that it gives you isn't some pushover number either. The Stag gives you 25% damage resistance when you're in your own rift and 15% to any allied player. Whether or not you're standing in an empowered rift or a healing rift does not matter. The game does not care, and neither should you. When you finally do hit critical health, the exotic immediately returns 55% of your rift energy right there on the spot. You definitely want to prioritize your recovery for the increased rift cooldown speeds, because the rift is going to be your baby. It's going to go everywhere with you, and you're not going to do anything without it. That, in combination with this wonderful free 25% damage resist and the additional 55% rift energy at critical health, creates a very versatile exotic. All of those stats are all crucial, and that's what we're going to be taking advantage of here. Now, as for weapons, this is gonna sound like a fucking weird combination, but I'm also a fucking weird guy, so it really shouldn't come as a surprise. But I digress. Just hear me out, you'll see what I'm getting at here. We are going to take a Truth Teller and 1K Voices, or Sleeper Simulant, and we're gonna generate a metric fuck ton of elemental wells. In order to do that, there's a few different mods that we're gonna need. There are 5 core mods specifically. First, you'll need Elemental Armaments and Explosive Wellmaker. That right there is going to give Truth Teller the ability to generate both Solar and Void Wells on multi-kills. Void kills on a Void subclass are going to proc Elemental Armaments, and it just so happens that this Void weapon also deals explosive damage, which is going to trigger Explosive Wellmaker. To top it off, you'll want Elemental Charge and Protective Light too. That's going to provide 2 additional resist stacks when your shields break and when you lay down a rift. That'll amount to a total of 4 stacks, which equates to a 50% damage resist. This will make you big and chonky, and the damage negation is extremely noticeable. But we're also going to be generating Solar Wells too. Well of Life is a modifier that restores 13 HP per second for 11 seconds. This is a healing buff that cannot be interrupted either. Once it starts, it heals continuously and consistently for 11 seconds, unless you get hit by a truck. For passive mods, Focusing Strike is a good fit for your gauntlets. That'll restore 20% of lost rift energy on a 7-second cooldown. Now, before we go any further, I should probably just tell the truth. That being, I'm using Sleeper because I don't actually have 1,000 voices, and I'm not doing Last Wish for the 600th goddamn time just so I can get fucked by RNG again. I know the numbers based off of the work of the one and only Court, who's compiled an incredible amount of data into a single file that contains multiple spreadsheets, which I will link in the description. It is extremely useful. I use it for literally every single video. Be aware that you have 2 different methods of triggering Explosive Wellmaker. You've got Truth Teller and your Grenade command. Both deal explosive damage, so both are going to proc a Solar Well spawn. And if you've got 1K, that's a 3rd method of spawning Solar Wells that I don't have and I am very angry about. As a result, it's not necessarily crucial to proc Devour at the start of combat, but that is what I tend to do, mostly because it fuels my grenade. My Truth Teller specifically has Demolitionist on it as well, so that energy return is increased, and it does add up over time. On the topic of Devour, there are 3 different ways that you can trigger it. You can consume your grenade, you can kill with a charged melee attack, or you can use your supercharge. All 3 of those will proc Devour, or reset the existing timer, ultimately keeping your chain of healing and resistance going strong while you rack up a larger and larger body count. All those solar wells that Truth Teller and your grenades are spawning are your healing rift, if you will, and the void wells that spawn alongside them will add on to that effect, making you slightly more difficult to kill. All of that comes from Protective Light and the Stag working in sync with one another. It's a really, really good combo. And if Devour is active, you shouldn't have any issue staying alive, because successive kills will heal you even more for a short time, alongside of restoring more ability energy. There is so much healing potential here, a healing rift should not even be a thought in your mind, and this is why I suggest an empowering rift as opposed to a healing rift, because we've already got both a damage resist and a healing field going at the same time. It's a bit risky, but I find the doubling up on the damage rift to be significantly more rewarding, especially if you're using Sleeper as opposed to 1K. That's mostly due to the fact that Sleeper loses a lot of damage against 1K voices comparatively. This is still a chunky damage combo to begin with, but the majority of that damage is coming from particle deconstruction, which caps at 40% for 5 stacks, in combination with the empowered rift, which offers a bonus to weapon damage of 20%, so the numbers will still make you pretty happy, but just be aware that you are not hitting for optimal damage. On a more positive note, with a prioritized recovery stat and focused strike combined with the Stag, there should never be a moment where you don't have a rift either active or charged. That's what makes the empowering rift so wonderful here. Like I said earlier, it's an additional 20% on your weapon damage, combined with particle deconstruction, which offers a maximum of 40% extra damage at 5 stacks. When both of those are together, your fusion rifles are going to hit for some really good damage. 1K is ultimately going to be the winner here, but if Sleeper is the best you got, you're still going to have a decent time. Just make sure that you got the catalyst though. Sleeper desperately needs the faster charge time and the deeper pockets. Alright, now that this whole can I pull a build out of my ass in less than 48 hours thing is over, I'm gonna go get to work on the next video. You know the drill. Me, sell, goodbye.